One of the unfortunate realities of these type of games is that thematic or pre-built deck archetypes are often pushed aside by more efficient, straightforward, and effective good stuff type builds. In Flesh and Blood, a good example of this is how the Redline Cheerios Briar build, for the most part, completely eliminated the more traditional Lightning Briar build. But now that the erratas and bans are in place, as of today actually, is it perhaps worth revisiting the more traditional Lightning Briar build? Or on the other hand, was it similarly impacted just as hard with the Ball Lightning ban? A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. Thank you very much for taking the time to tune in tonight for our little discussion here. It's been a great day for me so far as a federal holiday here in the United States, so I have it off work. My wife does as well, but our kiddo got to go to daycare still because they were still open, so it was kind of like mommy, daddy, free day. So I got up this morning, I went for a run, I took my wife to lunch, and now I have all afternoon to try and bust out as many videos as I can. Not too many though, because as soon as the spoilers hit, they're all going to get blown out of the water, right? So there's no reason to bank too many, but that's an exciting prospect in of itself, right? So today I'm asking what I think is an interesting question. I hope it's an interesting question, otherwise why are we here, right? But the part of the reason I think it's interesting is that I don't know that we're going to be able to come to a conclusion on it, right? There are too many moving parts, especially with Everfest on the horizon, but also with how the meta will evolve and such. So tonight was kind of inspired by this card right here. So this is Flicker Wisp. I don't want to get it too close because I'll mess up my focus and lighting and stuff like that, right? But this is my foily first edition Flicker Wisp. Huge like $3 card, woo, right? But that card, it's a good card, right, in what it does. And there are a lot of other cards like that in Briar. There are a lot of good Lightning Briar cards that have just really never seen constructed play, right? Much of that archetype just hasn't hit the table because of, quite frankly, the existence of the Cheerios Briar deck. Now, the Cheerios Briar deck in its purest form is really just a good stuff fab type deck, right? You take everything good you can, you cram it in together, and it works, and it obviously works, right? So the question certainly looms, though, as to what the overall impact the removal of Ball and Plunder will actually have to that deck, right? Being good stuff, to sum it up, being good stuff, if you remove a couple of pieces of good stuff, there's a lot of stuff waiting in the wings to just kind of backfill it. Now, I do think it's going to be a measurable impact for sure, removing those cards. I mean, that there's no real question there, but how much will that hamstring it versus the rest of the meta, right? That's yet to be foreseen, and that's why I say that it is part of the moving parts here. But with all that said, I did feel this was interesting thought experiment, not only in of itself, but also to help kind of keep our minds open as we do head into spoiler week here in a few days, because if you really think about it, it's the supplemental set, right? We're expanding on concepts, and the supplemental set was in design and printed and shipped, a while ago. So I would expect that your build around themes like lightning and earth and such would be more likely to get support. That said, good stuff is good stuff. So we will see. We'll see where it falls. So really, like I said, the point of today is that there are a lot of pretty decent and synergistic Briar cards that just simply don't see play in constructed formats right now. And the majority of those are Lightning Blade based, like our buddy Flicker Wisp right here. So what I want to do is actually I want to pull up the Fab spoiler site. So normally I would go, if I was doing deck building, whatever, I would be over on DeckDB, right? You guys know that's a great resource to use. This was just easier to basically grid everything. But remember, on FabDB, you can go in, you can search Lightning, you can go in for Briar and search Lightning, whatever you may do. Set up your search criteria, whereas in the gallery, you just kind of got to scroll through it, right? So
So Flicker Wisp you see right here, Blossoming Spellblade, really cool concept card, massive impact when it happens, but good luck double fusing, my friends, right? So we see Flicker Wisp up there. That's a card that has seen very little effective play. But then we get down to some of these pretty good cards, right? Rites of Lightning and Arcanic Shockwave. Maybe I'm partial to those because both of those were spoiled here on Dice Commando, along with the Ball Lightning Sting of Sorcery. Sorry about that. But, both of these are Lightning Fuse, right? And when I say what we've been talking about, what I've been talking about tonight, or, the Lightning Briar, and by that I primarily mean the Lightning Fuse stuff of it, right? And what you see with Rites of Lightning, Arcanic Shockwave, not so much Vela Flash, but Vela Flash does its own thing, right? They're your Lightning Fuse cards. And by and large, Briar's Lightning Fuse cards have seen very little play. But they're still pretty good cards, right? I mean, if you look at Rites of Lightning, it's a 1-for-4. If you've dealt Arcane, gets Go Again. I mean, that should remind you of like a meet and greet or something like that. But you do have to, you have to get the fusing in, right? And I mean, don't forget, right? Fusing, all the cool, not all, but a lot of the cool things that Lexi can do with Lightning Lexi can do with her pumps over the top, Briar can do as well, but she also threatens arcane damage on top of it, and it's not a secret to anybody that arcane damage is really friggin' strong, right? Look at Arcanic Shockwave, great card in of itself, a 0-4. I do know that Arcanic Shockwave, to be fair, I know Arcanic Shockwave did find its way into some people's Cheerios Briar's build. I don't think again, it's still a 0-4 in of itself, but it deals arcane when it's fused, so if you can get that off, that's great. But again, fuse that and then pump over the top with a lightning press or something. And then let's not forget about Vela Flash, probably Vela Flash, right? But this card is, Billy Horn destroyed me with this in our draft because I didn't put 2 and 2 together that the one he didn't have Go Again, and then he had the card in his hand to play the non-attack. This card's good, right? I mean, you remember a lot of the tricks we were talking about with Spellbound Creepers and what it does to be able to, granted in that case, it was usually a player plan to run on top of it. But Vela Flash lets you play a Weave Lightning or something like that from your hand, and then all of a sudden you have Go Again. No, but you get that Go Again in many cases to either set something up or to, and because in a lot of cases you play that from hand, giving yourself Go Again, and then all of a sudden you get a Lightning Surge token, right? Embodiment of Lightning token, and then all of a sudden you've got your Rosetta Thorn coming, right? So, I mean, those cards in themselves, Inspire Lightning, it's Inspire Lightning's really good in draft, by the way, or it's limited, I should say, but probably not a good constructed card. But you start looking at, and don't forget, we still have Sting of Sorcery as well in this. Yes, it's not a lightning card, but it starts stacking those arcane pangs. But you look at that, a Sting into Flicker Wisp, which poops out your embodiment, your lightning embodiment for your Go Again. Things are pinging Arcane, and then that Arcane is buffed, right, because it's Arcane +1, and then all of a sudden it's Arcane 2, and you guys are well aware that an Arcane 1 versus an Arcane 2 is very, very good, hence why Vexing Malice is so popular. And you guys get it. There's a lot of synergistic potential with this deck in stacking of all of this type of stuff. But to date, the Cheerios build of just being able to puke everything on the table has been superior, right? There's no argument on that. So the question will be, does Cheerios Briar get hit hard enough that this one could potentially become stronger? Now, do keep in mind that this deck loses Ball Lightning too, which means not only does it lose its potential fuse cards, but Ball Lightning makes everything hit for +1, or it used to, right? Ball Lightning had the potential to make everything hit for +1, so when you're dealing all of these individual triggers, that was the dream. So it is unfortunate. It's that's why Ball Lightning was unfortunate. There's a lot of there are a lot of collateral damage even within Briar. Even within Briar, there's some collateral damage from that, but we have to keep things controlled. So, I guess that's really it for my piece. We've run through. We've run through the cards, I suppose. So I guess this is relatively short. So apologies. But, that's really the question overall is maybe that's the better question I have for you guys, right? What do you think? Yeah, I think that's a good question. What do you think would have to be picked up in the supplemental set to really make the traditional, quote unquote, Lightning Briar build, the build around, the preset, whatever? I mean, because, if this was, other games out there and you were going to go buy a pre-con deck, you might have like the Lightning Briar pre-con deck, right? So if the Lightning Briar pre-con deck was a thing, and if that was an archetype, well, it is an archetype, but if it was a meta type archetype, what would you have to get in Everfest to make it worth playing? And then the flip side of that ask yourself before you post, right? Would that card break other stuff? I mean, would it just make Cheerios Briar better? And if that's the answer, that they can't get anything without making Cheerios Briar better, then maybe that's the answer, and fair enough. So anyway, that was really it for today. So with Everfest on the horizon, I do want to remind everybody, you're getting your pre-orders in. My LGS Gongai, if you're looking for an LGS to get involved with, you can contact Gongai. They're taking pre-orders right now. Remember code Commando10 at checkout for 10% off of your purchase. That's a pretty good deal, and it helps keep my LGS alive. I mean, they are an LGS. They can't compete with some of these online retailers, but at least we can go play there, right? At least we can go play there. And then as you were looking to, a little later, after you've gotten your stuff, after you're looking to fill out your collections, Travis over at Fab Foundry, he's always got the singles available for you if you need them. Really good guy. He's got his own store, owns his own LGS he's running. Good guy as well. And if you use the link below, I do get a kickback from that one, which helps me keep my cardboard crack addiction going. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in today for just a little bit of a thought puking and theory crafting. But yeah, really, I do really care about what do you think, right? Does it just have no chance versus Cheerio Briar? It's a completely fair answer. Or what would it need to get to be more competitive and maybe take a leg up? So anyway, thanks for checking in, folks. And if nothing else, go Commando.